I could have picked an industry that was much easier and not had all these problems, but I'm actually grateful for the challenges that I'm able to face, because one of the things that for me, I have to learn through failure. I don't learn if I do something right. I can say, yeah, I think I did it right. It worked out. I didn't jack it up, but I learned well through failure, and I learned through doing hard things. Like if I didn't go through these struggles, and I wouldn't know these other avenues to get out and market. I would just rely on what everyone else is doing. Well, sometimes you just can't do what everyone else is doing. You should actually be different. You should try to be different. And I was like, listen, you guys should be grateful that the market sucks right now, because for the last 5 years, everyone has been successful, air quotes here, in the real estate industry, not working hard. So if you learn to do the hard thing first, suffer through adversity, when it becomes easy, trying to make money, trying to make yourself better, whatever it is, then you're going to be a better person on the backside. You're going to have wealth that maybe it's not, financial wealth right now, but you're going to have a wealth of knowledge of what you're actually capable of, not just waking up, fogging a mirror, living a mediocre life.
You're listening to the number one real estate podcast in the world. And we talk with real estate professionals all across North America about their wins, losses, lessons, stories, help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Stream, joined by Vikram Deol of the Real Estate Sales Academy. You can see behind him, Transform Sales. What kind of sales are we transforming today, Vikram?
No sales, shitty sales, bad sales processes, people that are not familiar with why they're like, there's a lot of agents out there that are doing well, right? They're doing well. They're doing a couple of deals a month, 5 deals a month, 6 deals a month, but they're still missing out on opportunities. And the reason why is because sales training, right? Like if you think of the big box sales trainers, if you listen to the scripting that they use, it's very much a logic-based script, because to teach people how to go emotional, right? To get people to like, hey, it's not just a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house that I need. It's why do you need the 3-bed, 2-bath house? Well, we're having another kid. Most agents can get that and they'll stop. But it's like, why is a 3-bed, 2-bath house important to you versus the 1-in-1 condo? Like what would happen if we could find out a little bit more information about that? See, and the reason why it matters, Cody, is because what happens is the prospect is going to give you at the end of the call, well, we're going to wait because we want to check to see what interest rates are. But if you know that the prospect has the in-laws coming in, right? Let's say it's an ethnic family. Like my little brother just had a baby, and his in-laws, right? Well, his mother-in-law and the grandma-in-law, I guess grandma-in-law, is that a term? Grandma-in-law are staying with him. So in their old apartment at 2-2, it wouldn't have worked out very well. But now they're in a 3-2, 3-2, 3-3, 3.5, and it's like way better. But if somebody would have stopped and said, hey, oh, you just want a 3-bed, 2-bath, and he's just started his new position as new job, and it's $1,000, let's say, more expensive. We're just gonna do it this way. But it's like, hey, what are you gonna do with like your in-laws? Like, you're not gonna have a proper baby room. Like, they're gonna be like, where's everybody gonna sleep when everybody's visiting? Where's everybody gonna go? Like, how long are they staying for? They stay for 6 months at a time. Oh, well, I guess would that have a negative, like any consequences? And if you can ask those questions, all of a sudden that $1,000 doesn't seem like such a big deal anymore. The 6, 7, 8% interest rates don't seem so big of a deal when you're like, wait a minute, your kid's not going to be able to go to the school that you want. They're not going to be able to have the whatever program that's going to give them that advantage to go to college. Oh, well, a minute ago you said you'd do anything for your family, but like, I guess paying an extra $800 a month for the right school district, I guess that's too much to do for your family, right? And obviously you're not going to say it like that, but when you know their emotion behind why they want to do things, a lot of the objections start to disappear. So this is actually my friend's podcast. He does SaaS stuff and B2B. I'm in his office and studio right now, but that's what we do. Like, we're transforming the way that real estate agents and professionals think about the sales process. And it's more of a curiosity based, right? Like, let's gather information, see if we can help them, see what their real needs are, see if we're the right people for them, versus like, I'm the trusted advisor because I've been a realtor for 72 years and I've sold 6 houses in the last 4,000 years as well, type of stuff. Was that a good monologue?
That was a great monologue. I wasn't expecting that answer, but great answer. Transforming sales. And I really appreciated that monologue.
What's up with you, man? You're in a new spot. Where are you at right now?
I'm in the same spot. I'm just like trying to get away from the sun that's like shining in above me. If you're watching back on YouTube, just trying to get away from the sun. It's hot as balls in
It's 92. It's 92 degrees in Medellin right now.
Yeah, 92 degrees. And the Canadian boy likes it, but he doesn't love the heat. Miami right now would be brutal. Somebody was explaining to me it was like 110 degrees in Miami. I'm like, yeah, no, that
110 with like 1,000% humidity.
Yeah, we're not doing that. That's a little aggressive. I don't do Crocs and I don't do heat. So
Branum's gonna have to leave because he's probably wearing Crocs.
I don't wear Crocs. I've never owned a pair of Crocs. I'm a flip flop kind of guy.
Hermosi didn't send you a pair of Crocs, bro. Jeez, man.
Does he wear Crocs?
Yeah, well, you're not good friends with him like I am because he's.
I don't actually want to be friends with him. I'll be friends with his wife, though.
You know what? Between the two of you, you guys can figure that out. I ain't even getting involved in that one. Layla and I are going to be watching, eating popcorn, holding each other while you and him are fighting in the ring. Whoever dies doesn't win, obviously. I don't know. I think I got my money on you on this one, though.
He knows how to sell. He knows how to lift weights. He doesn't know how to fight. I already knew that.
Well, let's welcome our guest. So I'm really pumped about this episode because I was telling Cody, I'm like, sometimes, talking about the same things in real estate, it can get kind of like monotone and we do this all day, all night. And so when I saw my good friend, William Branum on here, and you got to tell the story of how we met because I think it's great. But we've known each other since 2018. We're part of a couple of different masterminds. You're now part of the project. You're doing your thing there. You're helping men become, I'll let you explain it, but you're helping men be men, which is a much needed and an interesting topic for a real estate podcast. But I think it's the mindset that you bring to the table. So I'm super pumped to have my boy, William Branum. What are you, bro? Who are you? Tell us about you.
Oh, is this my turn to talk? I thought we were talking about penis pumps when we first started this thing, but I guess we're going to talk real estate and some other stuff.
What you and Cody were talking about before I got on, I don't think I need to be part of that conversation.
The beautiful thing about this is nothing you say is believable, Vikram. Like everyone knows that it was you who was talking about it. So
everybody, because everybody
knows.
It's your room. You're the host. And I just showed up like, as I always do, 3 seconds before the guest is allowed in. And I just rock it because, but clearly I'm the penis pump guy.
So going back to me, let's talk about now that we're done talking about Vikram, or we gained a bunch, who knows? We'll talk about me for a second. So my name is William Branum. I spent 26 years in the SEAL teams, retired. When I retired, I had, I don't want to say depression. I don't want to say PTSD, but I'll say I had baggage. And so it was pretty much just drinking myself to sleep at night. And I discovered this molecule called CBD, and it changed my life. And so it turned down this noise in my head. And so I started a company called Naked Warrior Recovery. I had no idea how to sell or anything else. So I hired some coaches, and so I still have Naked Warrior Recovery, crushing it over there. I found out that the CBD industry is incredibly dirty. So our mission was to create the highest quality product on the market. And we have actually helped change the standard of CBD across the board. Even the biggest names of CBD that you see out there, they do what we do now as far as the Q&A. The way we started by testing the oil when it came out of the plant and then testing the final product. Well, those big names that you might know about, they were testing the oil when it came out of the plant, but they never tested it again. So you didn't really know what you were getting. And so we helped change the industry. But, CBD is a very saturated space. I'm actually working on breaking into the Brazilian market right now. I can't say that's on the DL because I just said it on your badass podcast, but we're working to.
People are going to hear about it.
Right. It's all good. Maybe 16. But break into the Brazilian market, and that will be very, very good. But other things that I'm doing, I do business and leadership coaching based off my experience in the SEAL teams. and I do a fair amount of public speaking. This is one of the things I like doing the most, is travel around the world, speaking on stages, spreading my message on how you can think like a Navy SEAL. And as in kind of your earlier monologue, I was thinking, like, I know this is primarily a real estate show, but you mentioned interest rates and things like that. Do you have any mortgage professionals? Because I might know a few that what I found is most people, real estate agents, don't know anything about mortgages. They know like maybe some wave top level stuff. They don't know anything about like all the different kind of ways that you can get a mortgage or what all goes into getting a mortgage and things like that. So that might be someone else, some other people that you could maybe bring on this show. Yeah, well, turn it back over to you. Enough about me.
Well, it's all about you. This next 17 minutes is all about you, bro. So let's jump into it. We met in 2018. That's a funny story. We'll see if that pops up or not. And when we met, you were starting Naked Warrior. I think you had just 5 years ago. I think you were just kind of getting into it, correct?
It was 2019, and because I retired from the military in 2018.
Okay. Let's talk about the mission behind. I mean, obviously, it was to create a clean CBD product, help people out. I know a lot of our friends use it. Sharon uses it. You know, it's his running joke. Why did you actually start Naked Warrior? Like, why Naked? Why Warrior? And like, what was your mission behind it when it first came out?
So our mission, you know, the first thing that people start business is to make money. CBD was that modality that helped turn down the noise in my head. It helped improve my own personal life.
Right.
And I was like, well, you know, if and all the like the gurus out there, the coaches, the whatever, they're like, you need to have a mission that's bigger than yourself, something that's bigger than, you know, just making money. Like, you need to have something where you're giving back. And so I look back at myself. I look back at the industry I came from. The military is an industry. And I saw that 22 veterans were taking their life every single day. And so our mission at Naked Warrior Recovery is 22-0. Our mission is to help eliminate suicide. Some of that is mindset, and some of it is CBD and THC also. We have some products that have a fair amount of THC, but they still fall inside the federal Farm Bill of 2018 requirements of, you know, 0.03% THC per net weight of the product. And so I can still ship federally across the United States. So I found it has been hugely helpful, especially in my alcohol consumption, because I wrote an email last night about THC actually helped me turn off or break this habit of like drinking glasses of vodka at night just to like wind down and turn everything off. Where, you know, if I have some CBD and a THC gummy, like I get the same sort of effect that I get from booze, but I don't have a hangover. It's not terrible for my body. My sleep is awesome. And so it's one of those things that I have just like, it's helped me change bad habits into good habits.
When you talk about having a mission bigger than you, because I've seen you from where you started in 2019-ish, 2020. I've seen you from our group that we're a part of go through some trials and tribulations, have a lot of challenges with, I mean, just different things. I mean, CBD is like a super tough industry, from money and shipping and collections and the whole shebang, right? So how, like, because all business is hard. There's no business that I've ever started or been a part of that was easy, even if it was already operational and you just come in and take it over. How has your mission of 22-0? And that's one of the things that when I heard you say that for the first time, I was like, I really like this guy a lot more. Like, I really like, wow, what a fucking mission, right? How has that helped you with a big mission overcome the thousands of hurdles that show up that you don't even know are going to be a hurdle because they're just not a hurdle for normal businesses?
Right. That's a great question. So I don't think people who aren't in the industry have any clue how challenging it is for marketing or anything like that. Payment processing. Right now I have Square and they can shut me down in a heartbeat. If they sent me like a dirty note because I had sort of in my FAQs from like 3 years ago, I think they had like an AI bot like scan my website, and they found something like I wrote something like the dog treats could potentially decrease inflammation in your pet. And they were like, that is against our rules and you're part of this program. And if you don't fix that, we're going to shut you down. I've had other people say that Square has shut them down and given them zero idea that they were going to do it. They just they had it payment processing one day and they didn't the next. Getting new payment processing, a different payment processor, is super hard. Running ads is almost impossible. I never had Facebook until I started this company. And because I was like, who cares? Who cares what I have to say or think or do? And so I would I'd put some posts out there. I'd try to boost the post. And then, Facebook still took my money, but then they deactivated my account. And so it took me 4 Facebook accounts and 3 Instagram accounts later before I figured out they're considering CBD to be like heroin or pretty much anything else. And so so I had to just go straight organic. And part of the way I was able to market was on, doing podcasts like this. In the last 24 months, I've been on well over 400 podcasts. I'm probably in the 450 range right now. As of the recording of this. I've started my own podcast, but where I don't really talk much about CBD. I write for a magazine called Best Holistic Life. And so I just have to find other creative ways to get in front of people. And so I could have picked an industry that was much easier and not had all these problems. But I'm actually grateful for the challenges that I'm able to face because I have I have to face these challenges. One of the things that for me, I have to learn through failure. I don't learn if I do something right. I can say, yeah, I think I did it right. It worked out. I didn't jack it up, but I learned well through failure, and I learned through doing hard things. Like if I didn't go through these struggles, and I wouldn't know these other avenues to get out and market. I would just rely on what everyone else is doing. Well, sometimes you just can't do what everyone else is doing. You should actually be different. You should try to be different. And, in this, again, this is mostly real estate facing, but I gave a presentation to a real estate group back in February, March timeframe. And I was like, listen, you guys should be grateful that the market sucks right now, because for the last 5 years, everyone has been successful, air quotes here, in the real estate industry. And all they had to do is fog a mirror. And so you should be super grateful that the market is hard right now, that it's because all those weak people who don't want to put in the work, who don't want to find other ways to find customers or sell houses or things like that, they're going to go away. And I know many of those people, those mouth breathers that were just fogging mirrors, being successful, doing 6-7 figures a year, not working hard. Now they have to work hard. And they're like, why doesn't it work? Well, because you never learned to do the hard thing first. So if you learn to do the hard thing first, when it becomes easy, that's just gravy. But if you were able to go out and suffer through adversity, trying to make money, trying to make yourself better, whatever it is, then you're going to be a better person on the backside. You're going to have wealth that maybe it's not, financial wealth right now, but you're going to have a wealth of knowledge of what you're actually capable of, not just waking up, fogging a mirror, living a mediocre life.
It's really interesting that we've had quite a few agents that have come from the Army, they've come from the military, and they all have that discipline, that mindset, that grit, and me and Vic have had this conversation before about even the immigration mentality of when you're an immigrant to the US, it's there is no option B, there is no plan B. This is the only thing. And I was trying to dissect this week because I was chatting with my COO about this. She's like, you just seem unfazed sometimes when when bad things happen. I'm like, there is no plan B. I'm not going back to a corporate job. I'm not going to go work for somebody. There's no
can work for me, Gordon. I'm hiring.
You're hiring a business.
I like to spy. I don't mind people that look different.
But there's no plan B. Talk to us about when you work, because you do a lot of speaking, you do a lot of coaching. Talk to us about how somebody goes from that ordinary person, because I'm sure you've seen it. They go from that ordinary person, because not everyone is extraordinary. I personally just don't believe people are born that way. I believe it's a choice that they make. But how does somebody go from being just apathetic in life towards like, I'm going to wake up every day and create discipline in my life. Because I think a lot of agents out there right now, they're searching for the next thing, and they're searching for the next motivation that's going to drive them to wake up and actually do the work. How do you create discipline in your life? This world is very different than getting shot at. Like, no one here is getting shot at, fortunately. But there's a different level, I think, of like tenacity that people hold that have been in the military, that have gone through tough shit, that have gone through the project, that there is no plan B. Like, this is the only thing. How do ordinary people become extraordinary in your mind?
I think you have to have a plan. You can't just wake up and just like try to figure it out when you wake up in the morning. You got to start the night before. You got to start the week before. I consider everything that we do in life to be a mission, and you should plan your life like it's a combat operation. So figure out what you want to do, and you have to know that not everything is going to go according to plan. So it's a little bit of a longer process, but you have to make a plan. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to accomplish? And then you kind of deconstruct it. What are the actions I need to take to get there? And then now that you have that plan, I would go find someone who you trust, or a team member or whatever, and talk about the plan, and then have them kind of shoot holes in the plan. Yeah. I like finding people who are incredible naysayers. Like, they're like, this isn't going to work because of this. This isn't going to work because of that. I love those people because, number one, I want to prove them wrong, or they're able to see things that I'm not able to see. I think Einstein said one time, like, the thoughts that created the problem are not the same kind of thinking that will create the solution. So you have to find people that are going to think differently than you, which is one of the reasons that people hire me, because I don't think the way that they think. I think very differently. In some aspects I do, but I think very differently. Then you go and you practice this plan, which what we call a dirt dive. And so, for example, if we're in Iraq or Afghanistan, we'll brief the mission. And then when we're done with the brief, we'll go grab the vehicles, we'll go grab our headsets, our radios, we'll climb in the vehicles, we'll sit exactly where we're going to sit that night on the mission, exactly in the vehicle where we're going to sit. Or if it's a helicopter, we'll go sit in a vehicle in a truck and sit exactly as if we're going to get off the back of the helicopter, or side doors, whatever it is. And then we go like practice, like in order, like the most basic, simple things that you wouldn't think that Navy SEALs would do. We get in a line. Like, so we'll get in vehicles. We'll just say we're in vehicles. We're going to drive to a target. We'll get in the vehicles. We'll drive 100 yards. We'll get out. We'll pass radio, like every communication that we're going to pass over the radio, so everyone can hear it, so everyone knows where we are in that phase of the operation. Then we'll stop. You hear over the radio, get out, set point. Everyone gets out of the vehicle. We get in the exact line that we're going to walk in to the target, the last, whatever, like 2 blocks or whatever it is. And then we walk to this pile of dirt or pallets that are on the ground. And then, they send the security team out to, 2, 4, 8 guys will go this way, 8 guys will go that way, and we'll pass over the radio. Security 1 set, security 2 set, breach set. And then you'll hear over the radio, execute, execute, execute. We're practicing the plan that we're going to do that night. And then, it's just radio call. And then the vehicles come in and they take their position around the target area. And we'll go through different scenarios while we're in there. We may go over like, hey, dry hole, we need to flex to a different target. And so we'll practice contingencies during this dirt dive. What can go right? What can go wrong? We'd like to work on things that will go wrong. We practice getting back in the stupid vehicle, like the most basic of things that you wouldn't think about. We practice getting in a line, like 4 guys in, like 4 guys, to get a head count, to make sure we don't leave anyone on target. Not that that's ever happened before, but it might have been close, or equipment or whatever. Make sure we have all, and then we get back in the vehicles, and then we leave, and then we do it again. And so we practice the plan, and then we go execute it. And after the mission, we come back, we do an after action review, and then we do it again. But to build the discipline, I would start there. Start with like, create the plan. Don't half-ass it. Don't say like, I'll just figure it out as I go. Go and like create the plan, the week, the night. And then the night before, you're going to go get up and do a bunch of cold calls, or you're going to meet, people in the morning. Do a little research on the places that you're going to go show your clients, or look at comps in the area. Do all this like way in advance, and have a plan on how you're going to execute it. What if you don't get the sale? What if it falls through? What if the interest rates go up? What about financing? Have all these things that are going to affect your transaction in place. But you just have to do it And it's not about motivation. Motivation is the weakest shit on the planet. Like, it's awesome at the time, but it only lasts a certain amount of time. And what happens after that motivation is gone? Well, I don't feel like doing that work. I don't feel like practicing that plan. You have to go out and you have to just do it because it has to be done.
I want to pick on something because I love what you said about like the regimented routine of just doing everything. Like me and Vic were having this conversation earlier this year where it's like, I started this year doing the 75 hard and I continued doing the 75 hard where it's like, even when you talk about motivation, how motivation is bullshit. Like, it's like, it's like today I did not want to go to the gym, but like, it was like my body forced me to go to the gym. Like, I didn't want to go. I felt like, I'm like, I could do this or I could do these other things. But it's like, I'm sitting here, I'm being like literally, I missed my gym session this morning. I didn't go in the morning. And then in between meetings, I was like, Vic, like, we can't meet. I need to go to the gym. I'm like, it's that, like, how do people, I try to articulate for people that like this shit doesn't happen overnight. It took me 75 days of doing bullshit.
Well, it took you 6 months it's 6 months of prep of me every day in your ear. Cody, don't be it. Cody, don't be it. Don't be it.
And you know what? I've seen the transformation. I remember when I met you a year ago. You're like a completely different person. You're half the person that I met. And, but it's really what it is what I talked about earlier. It's habits. You create habits. We all have habits, whether we know it or not, or like it or not. You just created the habit and you trained your body and your mind to like, you desire that gym time. That's a habit. And just like for me, like drinking, it was very hard, even though I don't need it. I'm not trying to turn down this noise in my head anymore, but it was a habit that I had of just like drinking that glass of vodka. Oh, that was good. Let me have another one and another one. And so I had to break the habit of drinking that glass of vodka. Now I can just go to bed because I'm tired because I got up early and life is good. But it, like, people are like, oh, I forgot what, like the stupid rule of you do something for 21 days to make a habit. That's a bunch of bullshit. It could take 21 months to create that habit. And there's no like hard science behind it. You just have to continue to do it, even if you don't feel like it. Doing 75 hard, you have to be very intentional about what you're doing. Very intentional. You can't half-ass it. You have to plan it out. You have to plan to drink your gallon of water. You have to plan doing 2 workouts a day. You have to plan all of that stuff out. That's just what I was talking about. It has to be a mission in your life. And you have to execute that mission every single day. So you start your day, this is my mission, let's go execute it. Like, you had to think about it. You had Vikram in your ear, like, Cody, let's fucking go. Let's get it done. Like, this is good for you. You need to do this. And now you've seen how your life has changed, how your body has changed, how your health has changed. And I've seen it. I'm 10,000 miles away from you just through social media. I didn't know your work ethic before, but I've seen your work ethic you're just crushing it physically, mentally, emotionally, I'm sure. But it was because you built new habits. For me, I don't go to the gym. I have a gym in my backyard. If I have time between coaching calls or writing emails or putting out fires, I walk in my backyard and I'll do a set of whatever. I'm injured right now. This is the first podcast I've ever done sitting down because my back is jacked up. I am sitting. I got my chair up nice and high. Normally I'm moving around a lot more, but my back is jacked up right now because I fell out of a helicopter once upon a time and my parachute collapsed about 15 feet off the ground. So, and every now and then it kicks in and I have a swim across, I'm swimming across the Hudson River next weekend. And so, yeah. And probably this will be out before then, but every now and then this thing kicks in and I'm like, oh, and my main chiropractor's out of town. So go ahead.
Say something. I just got to say something. Like, William just said that he fell out of a helicopter
and we collapsed on top of it.
Can we all agree to make an agreement to stop complaining about interest rates? You didn't fall out of a helicopter without a parachute. Sorry, William.
You said a couple of things. You said a couple of things that I want to bring home to a practical, because sometimes we say things, but somebody on the other end is like, oh, that sounds great. But I want to give you guys like what you said in a practical format so that you can actually utilize the knowledge that you just dropped. So when you guys are out there doing a visualization exercise and then putting that visualization, right? Because everything starts in the mind on paper and then it goes into real life. So we visualize what we want. We then whiteboard it or we write it out. And then we say, okay, is this practical in real life? When you think about your business plan, right? Stop using numbers, y'all, right? Like I talked to so many, how many deals would you love to do? I want to do 150. Okay, cool. Where are you at right now?
Let's start with
3.
one.
3 a month, 3 a week? No, 3 for the year. Okay, so you look, I don't want to be the dream stomper, but you want to go from 3 to 150. What's your plan? I don't know. Okay, your brain basically says you're full of shit. You're not going to get to 150. Why don't you go from like 3 to 9, 3 to 12, 3 to 18? Because you have no idea what the visual problems are going to be when you're at 21 deals. The escrows, the lenders, the this, the that, right? Like when I had my Osteo Strong, we were like, okay, we want to get to 150 members. Well, we got to 100 and let me tell you, started breaking left and right. We're like, oh my God. And then there's like a 3-month period where you're stagnant. And then you're like, okay, we figured that out. You get to 125, like, oh my God, things start to break. When you guys are out there doing your listing appointments, go drive the neighborhood before. So when you walk up to the house, it's not the first time you've seen it. Sit in front of the house, go do like 10 houses away, sit in your car. I know you guys all drive Beamers. Go sit in your nice Beamer, your leather air-conditioned seat, not like Cody at 100-degree, dying in a, with the little fan behind him that he won't put on because he doesn't want to ruin the sound quality. Like that is
Doesn't work, bro.
Fan doesn't work. But go out and visualize yourself walking into the home. Okay, I'm walking in, I'm shaking the hand. They're going to want to do a tour. I'm going to want to take them to the kitchen table to do a strategy session first, because if I do a tour, they're going to ask for the price after. Close your eyes and have the conversation. Okay, I already know what they're going to say. They're going to talk about interest rates. Close your eyes and talk to them about interest rates. Yeah. Okay, but if you guys follow what we teach inside the Sales Academy, like you'll know how to have a conversation that is emotional, that gets motivation, right? Second thing I want to tap into is you said motivation is bullshit. I'm going to push back on you a little bit. Motivation long-term is bullshit. Motivation short-term is a catalyst to the discipline you needed, right?
Agreed.
So Cody's my motivational catalyst. He's like, bro, you got to do activities. And I'm like, bro, I do activity all day long. He's like, not at the gym. Oh, okay. What? He's like, income producing activities. I'm like, yes. He's like, let's do this. And I'm like, hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. The motivation is simply the catalyst to start the action, to put it in your calendar, to put a time block so that you have the discipline, so that when the motivation falls off, when you guys get off of this podcast and Branum goes back to his world, Cody goes back to his world, I go back to my world, and the motivation sinks because you get a call from a lender. Did you take the action now and put something in your calendar? If you didn't, then you're wasting your time listening. I just wanted to kind of like give some ways to practically implement that, because what you shared was super valuable. And the fact that like Navy SEALs that do this all day long, the most elite of the elite trained in the world, they practice walking with their hand on the shoulder of the guy in front of them it's so basic.
We practice the most basic that you would not think, like the high speed stuff that we do. Everything that we do goes back to the basics. We'll go do a 6-month deployment and we'll do kick doors in every single night. We'll come back. And when we start training again, we start back at the most basic 2-man room entry scenario, because we do build bad habits. But I want to kind of talk about that motivation thing. I 100% agree. Like motivation will get you there. But, there's a bunch of gurus and coaches and people out there that talk about like, do the big thing first. If you have 2 frogs to eat the bigger one first. And I've called bull on that.
Yeah.
Because number one, I'm old and I can't just like go to the gym and throw 315 on the bar and just start cranking out reps. I got to start with 135. I got to warm up my body.
I'm like your warm up is most people's like max.
I got to warm up. I got to get it together. I got to sometimes I have to like just suck it up and like and start swinging weights around, swinging steel around. But it's not easy to do. It's the same thing for like projects that I need to get done. Like, oh, I've got this big thing I need to write out or a script I need to make or whatever it is. I don't feel like doing it. So what I'll do is I'll pick like 3 tiny things that just are almost insignificant. Like just go reply 3 emails that don't mean anything, just to start getting some momentum in what I need to do. Start building the momentum as early in the day as you can. And so when it's time to do those hard things or eat that big frog first thing in the morning, I already have some momentum. I have like, rather than just looking at the screen and having writer's block, I just start writing other stuff. It doesn't matter. Create the momentum, which if you have the discipline to do 3 tiny little things, you're going to start moving forward rather than just sitting there not really knowing what to do. Like you have a plan. How am I going to start the plan? I'm going to start by writing, replying to 3 emails like, yes, no, hey, how's it going? Or send like some gratitude messages. Write down 5 things that you're grateful for every day. And one of those things has to be something that sucks, something that has given you extreme amount of trauma or heartache or whatever. Like I've lost 10 deals this week because of interest rates or whatever, like weird stuff that happens. Be grateful for that because you learned something from it. Like I write down 5 things that I'm grateful for every day. 4 of those are super easy: family, health, lifestyle, where I live, income, whatever it is. And one thing that rips the guts out of me. And it's usually the same thing or same person or same scenario. But I have to be grateful for that thing so that I can appreciate the other things that I have.
Closing out here, I really want to know, because coming from somebody that's such a high performer, coming from somebody that, served, what do you think has been the biggest catalyst to your business success that you've learned from serving that can be applied to your business principles that has allowed you to create the success you've had in business? Because I don't think we've ever unpacked that before. Like I hear so many people that have served in the military, served in the Navy, served in the Marine Corps that come into real estate and they just absolutely crush it. And like you had talked to us about the visualization, about actually like making a plan. But is there like something that specific that you think, or have you been able to break apart what that thing is that has made you successful in business?
Honestly, the thing that I think that's made me successful is hiring a coach or multiple coaches. And I used to think that was a bunch of crap. And I was like, why would you pay all this money to have someone tell you what you probably already know? Well, the reason is you don't really know it all. And I learned this lesson over and over and over. And I learned it in the SEAL teams. And then when I thought about what we did in the SEAL teams, and then I started applying it to my personal life and my business and things like that, it was hiring a coach, hiring someone to teach me the things that I don't know. And I'll give you an example. So in 2000, we deployed to Iraq in 2007. Before that deployment, the team that was over there deployed, they wrote back a mid-deployment after action report saying, hey, the way we're doing operations right now is we are climbing the outside of buildings with like makeshift ladders and all this other stuff so that we can set security from rooftops, up to 3 stories. So because the area that we're working in, they have, a lot of early warning systems set up for coalition forces coming in the area, all this other stuff. And so in their after action review, they said, or their report, they said, if you can get really good at climbing with all, body armor, night vision goggles, like 30 pounds of, bullets and guns and everything else that your extra gear that you're wearing on your body, and you can climb buildings in the area, we were like, then go do that. So we went out and found like some of the best climbers in the world. We told them what we wanted to do. They showed us how to climb buildings in an urban environment, also in like, in sort of like rock walls and things like that. But, and then we were able to take those skills that weren't necessarily urban fighting skills, and we took that skill set and applied it to our tactics, techniques, and procedures, to our business of hunting bad guys. And then we were very successful on the battlefield. I mean, we were like it was almost like Spider-Man or something. We're like going up, the sides of buildings. We're like have these ladders, and we're like crossing from like building to building, like almost like parkour style. Not really the jumping and rolling stuff, but we're like some sketchy shit. but it was because we had to go hire someone. When I was teaching sniper school, we would go out and we would find the best long-range shooters in the world to help us, to give us a 0.01% advantage on like engaging long-range targets more accurately. When we're going through close quarters combat, we go and find the best shooters in the world to teach us how to draw and transition from our primary to our secondary weapon. We go out and we hire other coaches to give us an advantage to the enemy. If I'm 1% faster than you in like transitioning from one weapon to the system to the other, I win. That's all I care about. I want the advantage. I never want to be in a fair fight. So if you want to have an unfair advantage to your enemy, to your adversary, to your competition out there in business, I would go hire someone who's really good at the thing that you suck at and get really good at that.
I love that answer.
Agree more.
I couldn't agree more. Will, man, I want to say thank you more than anything for taking time out of your day
yes, sir.
In order to chat with us just about mindset and about like discipline and everything we kind of discussed on the podcast. If somebody were to want to reach out to you, maybe they want to learn a little bit more about what you're doing, maybe they want to hire you to coach them to maybe they want to learn more about the project, where is the best place that we can send them in order to have a conversation with you?
I would send them to the website, the number 5sealsecrets.com. You'll get, this basically my main keynote is 5 secrets to help you think like a Navy SEAL. And the secret there is to get naked, and you can read all about it. It's an acronym, 5 SEAL Secrets, SEAL, secrets.com. And just reply to that email. What I found, because I use Go High Level, it doesn't like Hotmail. I have a Hotmail account. So if you have a Hotmail account and you go subscribe to that newsletter or to get that document, go check your spam folder for the link. But outside of that, and I don't know if you guys know that, but if any of you out there are using Go High Level, that's just a little glitch that I found. But yeah, go find that and then reply to that email saying, hey, I'm interested in coaching, or I'm interested in speaking, or any sort of men's program that you're a part of. One thing that we didn't talk about is I'm also a part of an organization called Man Made, where we help men become men again. And we go out and do really epically hard shit. A year ago Wednesday, or 2 days ago, was a year ago that we went out and we climbed the Grand Teton. And then earlier this year, we went and climbed the Grand Canyon rim to rim to rim in a day. We didn't make it to the end of the Grand Canyon. We were about a half a mile from the end because there was 8 feet of snow. We did save a kid's life in the process, so that was pretty cool. It's a whole nother story that we can talk another time. But we're going to go do that rim to rim to rim, one of the 5 hardest things I've ever done in my life, again in October. So if you're interested, again, 5sealsecrets.com, just like reply to the email and that comes directly to me. And we can have a conversation about Man-Made. We can have a conversation about the project. We can have a conversation about CBD coaching, whatever it is that you're interested in, and we can make some stuff happen.
My friend, it was a ton of fun chatting with you today. I want to say thank you, and I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode of the REG podcast. We'll see you soon.